Okay everybody, I'm back with a new Evolution video, and this is going to be a fun one. So go bake yourself a tray lasagna and make sure it's not a Monday, because today we are going to talk about everyone's lasagna loving, Monday hating cat, Garfield.
Well, he's a fat cat, a cool cat, nobody's fool cat, but look out, cause here comes Garfield.
I think all of you know who Garfield is by now, but here's the brief summary. Garfield is an American comic strip created by Jim Davis, originally published locally as John in 1976, then in nationwide syndication from 1978 as Garfield. It chronicles the life of the title character Garfield the cat, his human owner John Arbuckle, and Odie the dog. As of 2013, it was syndicated in roughly 20,580 newspapers and journals and held the Guinness World Record for being the most widely syndicated comic strip. Though its setting is rarely mentioned in print, Garfield takes place in Jim Davis' hometown of Muncie, Indiana, according to the television special Happy Birthday Garfield. Common themes in the strip include Garfield's laziness, obsessive eating, love of coffee and lasagna, disdain of Mondays, and diet. Garfield is also shown to manipulate people to get whatever he wants. The strip focuses mostly on the interactions among Garfield, John and Odie, but other recurring characters appear as well. Okay, so now I've told you about the plot, now I'm going to tell you about the history and the creator. So, cartoonist Jim Davis was born and raised in Muncie, Indiana. In 1973, while working as an assistant on T.K. Ryan's Tumbleweeds, he created the comic strip Norm Nat, which ran only in the Pendleton Times of Pendleton, Indiana. From 1973 to 1975, and met with little success, Davis tried to syndicate the strip, but was unsuccessful. He noted that one editor told him that his art was good, his gags were great, but nobody can identify bugs. Davis decided to pursue current comic strips to determine what species of animal characters might be more popular. He felt that dogs were doing well, but noticed no problem in cats. But Davis figured he could create a cat star, having grown up on a farm of 25 cats, thus was created the character of Garfield. Garfield, the star, was based on the cats Davis grew up around. He took his name and personality from Davis's grandfather, James A. Garfield Davis, whom he described as a large, cantankerous man. The name John Arbuckle came from a 1950s coffee commercial. John's roommate Lyman, added to give John someone to talk to, carried on the name of an earlier Norm Nat character. The final character was Lyman's dog Spot, who was named Odie so to avoid confusion with a dog named Spot in the comic strip Ark. From 1976 to early 1978, these characters appeared in a strip called John, which also ran in the Times. The John comic strip was largely unknown until 2019, when the YouTuber Quentin Hoover found several digital scans of the John publications from the Pendleton Community Library and Indiana State Library. John first appeared in the Pendleton Times on January 8, 1976, just 2 weeks after Norm Nat ended. United Features Syndicate accepted the strip for national distribution, which had been retitled Garfield on September 1, 1977. In March 1978, ending its run in the Times on the 2nd, it made its nationwide debut in 41 newspapers on June 19th of that year. However, after a test run, the Chicago Sun-Times dropped it, only to reinstate it after readers' complaints. The strip underwent stylistic changes, evolving from the style of the 1976-83 strips to a more cartoonish look from 1984 onward. This change has mainly affected Garfield's design, which underwent a Darwinian evolution, in which he began walking on his hind legs, slimmed down, and stopped looking through squinty little eyes. His evolution, according to Jim Davis, was to make it easier to push Odie off the table or reach for a piece of pie. Garfield quickly became a commercial success. In 1981, less than 3 years after its nationwide launch, the strip appeared in 850 newspapers and accumulated over $15 million in merchandise. To manage the merchandise, Davis founded Paul's Inc. In 1982, the strip was appearing in more than 1,000 newspapers. By 2002, Garfield became the world's most syndicated strip, appearing in 2,570 newspapers with 263 million readers worldwide. By 2004, Garfield appeared in nearly 2,600 newspapers and sold for $750 million to $1 billion worth of merchandise in 111 countries. In 1994, Davis's company, Paws Inc., purchased all the rights to the strip from 1978 to 1993 from United Feature. While retaining creative control and being the only signer, Davis now only writes and usually does the rough sketches. Since the late 1990s, most of the work has been done by longtime assistants Brett Goff and Gary Baker. Inking and colouring work is done by other artists, while Davis spends most of the time supervising production and merchandising the characters. Part of the strip's broad pop cultural appeal is due to its lack of social political commentary. Though this was Davis's original intention, he also admitted that his grasp of politics isn't strong, joking that, for many years, he thought OPEC was a denture adhesive. Starting in 1980, the comic strip has been collected in anthologies. The first, Garfield at Large, was published in March 1980 by Ballantine Books. These books helped increase the strip's popularity through sales, leading to several of them reaching the top of the New York Times bestseller list. For these compilation books, Davis devised a book layout which is similarly longer and less tall than the other average book. This allowed the strip to be oriented in the same format as it appeared in the newspaper, as opposed to earlier comic strip anthologies, which often stacked panels vertically. This book style has since been referred to in the publishing industry as the Garfield format, and has been adapted by many other publishers. Davis noted that it became popular of other comic book anthologies in particular, such as those of The Far Side. On August 6, 2019, before its merger with CBS Corporation became Viacom CBS, now Paramount Global, New York City-based Viacom announced that it would acquire Paws Inc., including most rights to the Garfield franchise, the comics, merchandise and animated cartoons. The deal did not include the right to the live-action Garfield films, which are still owned by the Walt Disney Company through its 20th Century Studios label, as well as the upcoming animated Garfield film, which is set for worldwide distribution by Sony Pictures under its Columbia Pictures label. Except in China, scheduled for 2024. Jim Davis continues to make comics, and a new Garfield animated series is in production for Paramount Global subsidiary Nickelodeon. And that's just Rear Garfield, so make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to see the next Evolution video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, bye.